so welcome back to another Remembering Forgotten Memories episode, or a Throwback Thursday, or whatever the hell y'all want to call it. So, today's, I don't know if it qualifies as a storytime one or not, or if it's kind of just stream of consciousness, but as I'm sure most of you guys by this point who've been following along know, I grew up on a horse ranch. Actually, I still live on the same piece of property, but different house. Different piece of the property that we live on now. But it was when I was little, literally every side of the house, as far as the eye could see, there was no other houses. There was our house down at the bottom of this hill, and there was the nature trail that leads to the trail or to the lake that went behind the house, and all in front of it was nothing but open pastures in all directions, and seemingly went to the horizon on one side and all the way up to the mountains on the other. So, pretty much the only thing you could see from there was, like, the barn at the top of the hill. So, this made for lots and lots and lots of easy echoes to happen. And as being a little kid who just loved attention, and mostly was really lonely and really bored most of the time at that age, yeah, I may have exploited this. No sooner did I find out what an echo was, I was like, oh, that's cool. And it didn't take much to make it echo back then. Like, since then, like, the one whole side of the property is all developed. Down on the other side, there's houses in the distance. Up at the top of the hill near where we are now, there's neighbor houses. But there's still the land that we own that's open, but things don't echo the same way that they used to. But it reminded me of it because last night and most of the nights lately, we've had tons and tons and tons and tons of coyotes outside in the pastures, making a fuck ton of noise at like 1 a.m., howling their little heads off. And they do it for like 10 minutes and then they shut the hell up for the rest of the night. Don't know what the hell it's about, but it's every damn night. It always happens like this during the summer months. I think, as much as I complain about it, I will miss it when that land is developed and we don't hear it anymore. But, anyway, so I was probably 3, maybe 4 at most, but I want to say probably 3 since I think I was still an only child at that point. So I want to say it was my dad who tried to explain the science of how echoes work, because he knew I was a nerdy little kid. He had already given me like his entire scientific encyclopedia set from when he grew up, and I was already voraciously reading through them because I was a ridiculously young reader and had the comprehension of the stuff too, but he wanted to teach me about echoes on that day. So he demonstrated how they happen, and then tried to explain the science of why it happens. And then he wanted to know if I wanted to try it, and of freaking course I wanted to try it. And I thought that was so cool that, like, you could make a loud noise, or, like, yell at the top of your lungs, and then you hear it bounce back, as if it's another person repeating it. Again, as an only child who was very lonely, it was almost like the equivalent of having another kid around to play with, as far as I was concerned. So I very quickly, I tried to, shut up not too long after the fact while he was still around outside, but, when he went back in, but I was still hanging out, playing outside, I took to the top of my little, play school slide, the little yellow one, or Fisher-Price, whatever the hell it was, the little green and yellow one. And I stood on top of it, tall and proud, like frickin' Peter Pan or something, hands on my hips and stuff, power pose, the whole 9 yards. And I started, just yelling random words just to hear them echo back. And I just started making random noises, and, doing claps, and just random noises, just to see how they sounded when they echoed back, or, which ones didn't really particularly work for an echo. And then I got the genius idea to start just calling out names of anyone and everyone that I knew, including pets, including the horses. And this is around the point where my mom came out and said, let's not do that, because people on the trail could think you're, like, in trouble or something, or you're, like, a kidnapped child. Like, could you not do that? Basically. Oh, okay. So she goes back inside. So what do I do next? I start yelling, help, help, help. Just, I don't know, not even to be a dick, but just because the idea was then put in my head, and I have a very active imagination. I still do. But, like, yeah, so she's right back out there. Let's go inside. Off the slide with you. We're going in the house. That was the end of it for that day, but of course, like, any time that I was outside without adult supervision, it was only a matter of time till I was on top of that slide again, yelling and making noises just to hear it bounce off the fucking mountains. Yeah, my parents were none too impressed about this. At all. My grandparents were even less impressed when I tried to do it in their backyard. They lived at street level, so, you know, things A, didn't echo the same way up there, and B, they had neighbors. Like, can you not do this, child, please? Like, oh my god, but yeah, I just was fascinated by the whole echo thing. And then I had to try it in my other grandparents' backyard. Now, that was a unique setup, because they lived up the side of a hill, and while they lived street side, there was tons of neighbors and stuff, but because of the way the houses were situated, it was still enough open air to easily make echoes happen. And boy, oh boy, did I exploit that, and drive them up the fucking wall with it, and get told over and over to stop doing it. But not so much because I was being a nuisance, but because every time I did it, every dog in the neighborhood started barking and howling their heads off. So, of course, you know what your girl had to do. I had to bark and howl back. And I quickly abandoned the whole making random noises, yelling words thing in lieu of I'm just going to bark and howl because I want to talk to the dogs. Forget people. I want to talk to the dogs. All the dogs in the neighborhood. All at once. I want a conference call with all the dogs. Clearly not much has changed in my life, that I still put dogs above people, but when they came out again to yell at me for this one and knock it off, but I'm doing the Twilight bark! I made the Twilight bark happen! Because I had just seen 101 Dalmatians, like, not too long before, and it registered in my head that, wait, even though this wasn't at Twilight, this was damn near height of the day, but didn't matter, like, in my brain, this was the whole thing of, there's a dog barking, which makes another dog bark, which makes another dog bark. This is the Twilight bark, and I made it happen! I can make the Twilight bark happen, and I'm not even a dog! These dogs don't even know that I'm not a dog! That's so cool! The fact that I can still to this day remember the exact feeling of excitement and how ridiculously happy it made me that I could control the dogs and make them bark. Even though I didn't know what they were saying to me, I just knew they were talking to me. That was all that mattered in my book. I just wanted to hear them bark. I mean, it would have been even better if I'd been allowed to play with them, but I mean, short of that, I was more than happy just to be able to talk to them, even if I couldn't see them, I could hear them. Good enough for me. Did I mention I was a lonely child? God, I was not normal. I'm still not normal. I will never be normal, but I was really, really not normal as a kid. Oh, God, but yeah, the coyotes made me think of this last night, so I was like, I know what I'm doing for Throwback Thursday! So, anyway, that's all, but yeah, hopefully you got a giggle out of it, if nothing else, so anyway, that's it for this one, so hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, go ahead and give it a like. If you're not already and you'd like to be, click subscribe, hit that notification bell icon so you never miss an upload, leave comments down below, make sure you're following my social media accounts, my Facebook fan page, my Twitter, my Instagram, my eBay, my Reddits, everything and more is all down below, and if you like what I do here on this channel and you'd like to help support it, the donation link as always is down in the description. Anyway, guys, until next time, see ya.